Welcome back to Stu Structures. I've been trapped here working on plants and green stuff and starting bedding plants, just all this stuff for so long, and I need a break. So a friend of mine called, and I haven't seen him in a long time, and he invited me to go up to a train show today. So we're going to take a road trip. So welcome back to Stu Structures. We are going to take a road trip today. About Morgantown, which is about an hour north of where I live, is where West Virginia University is. And there's Mon Valley Railroad Historical Society, who does mostly model railroading. They do promote history too with lectures and stuff, but they have a building or quite a good sized floor space area inside of a very old mall. And they moved there a few years ago, and I've not been there since they moved, and I know a lot of the guys just from meeting them here and there over the years. So we're going to take a trip up there today and see what they've got going on. So let's go for it. Upon arriving at the mall and making your way down to where the Railroad Club has their area, when you first walk in, they have a nice little showcase area, and they have several pieces of actual railroad memorabilia in here, as well as some, scale train stuff in here as well. And they have a little welcome desk area and just, miscellaneous displays in the entry area. And then once you turn and walk back into the main area, this is the entrance to the main area. And where you walk directly into an O-gauge layout area. Their primary focus is in HO, and they've been in here a couple years, so there's still a lot of work to do on all these layouts. But basically, the O scale, they have 2 trains running at one time in here at the current time when we're in here. And you can see they've got started on some scenery and some buildings, but obviously, there's a good bit of work to do here. But it's nice to see some trains running, especially since I don't have a layout currently. It's nice to visit shows in places that do have things running all the time. They do represent several different gauges. This is the small N scale layout that they have. And once again, it's been here for a little while, but there's obviously a lot of work to do on it too. And it's a nice, real long layout with a loop in it. And that they had a train running here for the show or the open house today, so I just took a quick film of it as well. And there, obviously you can see they haven't been here real long, so they've got a lot to do. The HO scale railroad, it's a model railroad in central West Virginia, and it's the largest one in this area. There's many small yards and division points and a yard for switching. The layout represents a fictitious railroad in West Virginia called the Cumberland Blackwater in Ohio, and it kind of has the flavor of the B&O and Western Maryland Railroad. The structures are based on actual buildings and industry found in the Morgantown and West Virginia areas, and most of it dates from the 20s through the 1950s and represents, coal mining, paper making, lumber, tanning, quarrying, and, the various industries that were in West Virginia. And it's also a DCC operated system, so they can, operate multiple trains in here at one time, unlike my antique DC trains, which I like. But you can see they crammed a whole lot into the small space by looping in and out and around and creating a lot of miscellaneous aisleways in amongst all the track. They really took a large use of the area that they had available and crammed a whole lot of operating room into this area. So it's nice to see, and all the trains running. There's plenty of switching availability, and there was a couple crews in here running trains while we were in here this day and experimenting with things in the yard, and it was just good to see things up and running. But you can see most all the track is pretty much in place, and they're starting to get the scenery in place here. And it won't be long, and in a year or two, this'll be a nice model railroad. These guys all have various skills and donate a lot of different, talents into putting this together. Now at this show, the train club itself had some stuff for sale, but also a couple of the members had a lot of stuff they sell because they've changed eras that they're modeling in. There was also, a small wooden train area here for kids, so, you could keep them occupied while you're looking at the other trains. And there was also one little area set up here where, there was a scissor phone there that came out of the Grafton Railroad at D Tower in Grafton. And this is just kind of a dispatcher's little area that was set up. And they are looking for, memberships. They have a lot of different types of memberships available. And they welcome new members all the time. So if you're interested, these are the 2 points online that you can go and find out more information about their organization. Support them if you have the opportunity to do so, even if you can't be there in person. Now the cars, a couple of the guys that had stuff for sale there, I don't spend a lot of money on railroad cars, but a lot of these were Athearn Blue Box and a couple of different other modelers, varieties of cars, and they were just $5 a piece. And they all have KD couplers, and almost all of them have metal wheel sets in them. And the way I haven't weighed them yet, but they feel like they've been properly weighted to run on the track. So, I just went through here and picked up several from the steam days that would have been proper to the kind of time period that I model. And here's a CNJ car. They were part of the New York end of things on the B&O. And, so there's a lot of represented railroads that I would have had cars on the area that I model. I like the old wooden reefers, so I picked up a couple of wooden reefers. And some of these had some weathering done to them. Some of them still need some weathering. They're in various conditions, but in general, they all look like they're, not missing parts, well taken care of, and ran quite a bit, I would say, some of them, by the looks of the wheel sets on these. But it was just nice to be able to pick up some, usable cars from a model railroad for $5 a piece. And I'm not a rivet counter. I kind of do things that are the flavor of, like I've said before in all my videos. So this is just a nice little acquisition and a grab and go type of thing from this day out. And it was a very good day all in all. I really enjoyed my trip up there and talking to all the members and spending the time with my friend. So there you have the road trip for the day back home, and it was a nice visit up there. I'm glad we went. They've been working on this for close to 3 years, I think, and they've got a long way to go with it. But they've got things up and running. And it was nice to find a few things for sale that were reasonably priced, and nice to renew some old acquaintances with people that I had met before and haven't seen in a long time. And they also have a program with WVU University that they teach history of various sorts, including railroad history. And they've asked me maybe to take part in it, doing some local history from this area. I have a history collection of Barber County, and the Grafton area is in Taylor County, so I do have some from that area too, but there's a lot of interesting history here that nobody really knows about. So I'm really debating going up there and doing an hour and a half lecture through the WVU to teach people some of our local history, what's been lost over the years. So anyway, that was a neat little side venture and outcome of all of today. But it was nice to find some cars at $5 a piece. I just won't buy $60, $100 cars. I'm not going to do it. Yes, maybe the details just a little better or whatever, but I enjoy running trains, and what I do, I've said in many of my videos, I like to have things that have the flavor of, I'm more interested in the buildings and the places and the history of the area than, well, maybe not than the trains. I like my trains. But every single rivet doesn't have to be in place on the things I run. You know, if they look reasonably like the originals, I'm happy with that. You know, I can make up my consists and my trains of things that ran during that period of time. I can have the industries on the line that were there and use those cars to switch all that out and provide railroad service to my model railroad. And I'm happy with that. So I was really happy to find some cars at $5, which, you know, a lot of the shows they sell from, you know, $10 to $15. You know, old Atherton Blue Box and, you know, some other varieties as well. So anyway, it was nice to find all that, and it was nice to have a day away from working on green stuff. Man, what a nice break. It was a breath of fresh air. So anyway, thank you for coming back and sharing this day with me. I hope, you know, the contact information is in the previous parts of the video for that society. If you feel like, you know, if you're in the area and you feel like supporting them locally, or if by, you know, over a distance, if you want to, you know, help them out financially or something, I'm sure they would appreciate it. They're a bunch of good guys, and they're trying to do some good work there and work with history and save some history too, which is a good thing. So anyway, thank you for coming back and sharing this time with me. I do appreciate it, and enjoy the hobby. You know, this kind of thing like today was definitely a break from reality, which is nice, and a way to take a deep breath and a sigh at the end of the day. And you know, it's just another way to enjoy the model railroading world.